Hey everybody, it's me, Tiff, with Rangemaster, and I am here with one of my absolute favorite people on earth, Mr. Tim Reedy, for our first episode of Meet the Trainers for TACCon 2025. Tim, it is fantastic to see you as always. I consider you one of my very, very closest friends, so I don't need an introduction, but for anyone who hasn't had the pleasure of meeting you, please introduce yourself to the TACCon family.
Will do. And Tiff, we have a mutual admiration society going on since the moment I met you at the mothership that day. I think we've had a bond.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm Tim Reedy. I run TDR training out of Bandera, Texas. I've been training professionally since 2010. I am a Rangemaster certified professional pistol craft instructor, which is the highest level that Tom currently offers, and hopefully he'll offer something higher, maybe. We'll see. I'll be there if he does. Anyway, I am honored that this will be my fifth year teaching at TACCon. I can't believe it that I'm here and I'm just tickled pink every day I get to do this. Um, I'm an eternal student and I specialize in being a gateway instructor. Thanks to Tiff and Ock, I am really focused on taking people who are brand new to guns or very new to the world or maybe have some bad past history with guns and getting them to be competent and confident with their firearms.
And you are so, so good at it, and that we absolutely love you for it. And you're bringing some of that gateway instructor pizzazz to TACCon. First off, you're teaching holster success, and I'm gonna toss it to you to tell us what that's about. But before I do, I just want to put my thumb on the scale a little bit here and editorialize and say, folks, this year we have like 42% brand new attendees to TACCon. If you've never been to TACCon before, I strongly, strongly urge you to start out on Friday with Tim Reedy's Holster Success class. It's a great on-ramp to this entire culture. But with that, Tim, I'll toss it to you to tell us about that class.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, one of my favorite classes to teach is Holster Success, which is essentially an introduction to a quick, efficient, robust, repeatable draw to first hit, and even more importantly, returning the gun to the holster safely. A lot of people don't realize that one of the most dangerous things we do is holstering a loaded gun, and I think that bears a fair bit of training on that little specific area. Um, Going from being a gun owner and a shooter to being an armed citizen, in other words, carrying a gun on your person, I think is a huge step. And I love that, giving them a really good foundation to start building on.
Which is exactly what gateway instruction is all about. So again, kudos to you for taking such a deep dive at this initial juncture for anybody who is transitioning from working from a bench to holster work. I can't tell you how much it makes me cringe when I see trainers that will spend a lot of time on the presentation, but when it comes to putting the gun away, they just say holster and they never teach the technique. So thank you so much for doing that. It is just so important. I can't stress that enough. Folks, don't miss Holster Success on Friday. But there is more Tim Magic coming to TACCon as well. And that is now a two-part class, Kilt in the Streets. And if you've never met Tim, you will get the joke once you do meet him. Kilt is spelled Kilt. Tim, tell us about Kilt in the Streets.
Okie dokie. So, one of my, I guess, kind of an area of expertise is getting people introduced to competition. And I'm primarily a defensive shooter, a defensive trainer, and I think that competition has a huge benefit for defensive carriers. It lets you basically get some stress inoculation running your gun under conditions not of your choosing and having to perform on demand. I've had a number of brand new competitors come to my IDPA matches using their regular carry gear. And after their first match, they come up to me and go, "Oh boy, I got to change things. That holster didn't work the way I thought it was going to work. The mag pouch didn't work, my concealment garment, all kinds of stuff." Competition is a great pressure test. And I think a lot of people don't try competition because they don't know what to expect. And this class is aimed at how not to be that guy or that girl at your first competition, how to avoid all the mistakes just from not knowing what to expect. It's not a how to be a grandmaster. This is how to show up at your first match competent in what's expected of you and confident that you know the do's and the don'ts and that you don't make a silly mistake and get disqualified or something through a lack of basic understanding of it. It is an introduction into IDPA, the International Defensive Pistol Association, USPSA, United States Practical Shooting Association, and Steel Challenge, which for new competitors is a great way to get into it. There's little to no movement. It is essentially pure shooting, presenting from the holster, transitioning to different targets, hitting targets of different sizes at different distances. And it is a just a wonderful, measurable way to track your progress as a shooter. Um, it's actually split into two modules this year. Last year was one 4 hour block with essentially almost 2 hours of lecture and then 2 hours of shooting. And now 2 hours in the classroom on Sunday morning. I'm sorry, on Saturday morning, and then 2 hours on the range Saturday afternoon. And then if you miss that Saturday afternoon, there's 2 hours on Sunday morning. And you can take the two independently. You don't have to take one or the other. I do recommend taking the classroom portion first, though. It really does have a lot of valuable information. I'll be assisted teaching this class by a guy named Patrick Flores, who is a national PCC IDPA champion. He is a safety officer instructor, and he's worked a number of nationals. He is very good with new folks. People say he is the Bob Ross of safety officers because he is so calm and so gentle. And after having to disqualify a shooter on a stage once due to a major safety violation, the shooter turned to him and said, "That was the nicest disqualification I have ever had." So come see me and Patrick for Kilt in the Streets. We'll be tag teaming both the classroom and the range portion.
Awesome. And Patrick is also just another fantastic human being. So, folks, you are in for a treat with Tim and Patrick, and I hope you will come and see them both at TACCon. Tim, my friend, it's always a pleasure, and I cannot wait to give you a great big hug in Dallas.
Likewise, and before we part, I would like to leave our watchers with one little tidbit, and that is a preview of coming attractions. Well, gosh, this will be a seasonal joke since we are in the season, but on it will be a different topical joke. Anyway, the question is, what did one snowman say to the other?
I can't wait to find out.
Do you smell carrots?
So, okay.
So,
For the uninitiated, Tim
yes.
also is extremely talented at telling dad jokes, and you will not get past him without being subjected, and I mean that in the most loving way possible, to his infamous dad jokes. So thank you for the sneak preview, Tim. That's fantastic. I promise every dad joke that he tells is twice as funny as the one before it. So
Okay. Very kind. Probably not true, but very kind.
I'll see you soon. Thanks so much.
All right. Love you, Tiff.
Love you
Y'all
too.
got that. Mhm.